Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the daily newspaper analysis session by Pratham Test Prep. My name is Hema Chaudhary, and as you all know, that in this newspaper analysis session, what we do is we cover the important news from all the major newspaper covered for a particular day. So let me just quickly tell you about the other important part of Pratham Test Prep YouTube channel. As you all know that apart from daily newspaper analysis session, we are also doing other sessions जिसकी information मैं आगे आपको दूंगी. उससे पहले let's just quickly talk about this daily newspaper analysis session. So we do this daily newspaper analysis session on 5 days a week, which is from Monday to Friday, and the timing is 11:30 a.m. Right? So if you are following this particular series by Pratham Test Prep, that means you are aware with the most important news from the newspaper on daily basis, and along with the main headlines, you are also aware with the other important pointers, right? तो चलिए पहले हम बात करेंगे that इस पूरे सेशन में हम कवर क्या क्या करते हैं. So we cover all kind of news which can include the news related to important days, right? सेकेंड द न्यूज़ रिलेटेड टू इंडियन न्यूज़ जिसको हम नेशनल न्यूज़ भी बोल सकते हैं. देन वी ऑल्सो कवर सम इंटरनेशनल न्यूज़ इफ दैट इज इम्पॉर्टेंट फ्रॉम द एग्जामिनेशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. देन सम इकोनॉमिक एंड फाइनेंशियल न्यूज़, राइट. इसके साथ साथ बिजनेस न्यूज़ ऑल्सो. Then we also cover summits and conferences. अगर कोई भी recently summits and conference हुई है and that is important from the examination point of view, then surely we cover that. Then person in news में आपका appointments भी हो सकती है, आपका एनी पर्टिकुलर पर्सन भी हो सकता है who is in news for any other reason apart from the appointment and anything, right? Then we also cover science and tech news, we cover sports news, and apart from that we also cover some other news like, let's say, bills and amendments. If there is any legal news, important legal news, right? Appointments के साथ साथ appointments and resignations, right? And other miscellaneous news जिसमें आपका आर्ट कल्चर फेस्टिवल से रिलेटेड न्यूज़ आ सकती है, राइट? सो अगर आप ये डेली न्यूज़ पेपर एनालिसिस सेशन रेगुलर बेसिस पे देख रहे हैं, दैट मीन्स यू आर हेल्पिंग योर सेल्फ इन प्रिपेयरिंग वेल फॉर योर एंट्रेंस एग्जाम. सो स्टार्ट करने से पहले कॉट ऑफ द डे, राइट, आप लोगों के लिए ये समझना बहुत ज़रूरी है, स्पेशली फॉर दो स्टूडेंट्स हु आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर क्लैट एंड एलेट जिनका एग्ज़ाम अभी दिसंबर में है, राइट. एंड अगर हम बात करें इनके एग्ज़ाम की, सो 10 to 15 डेज ही बचे हैं इनके एग्ज़ाम में. सो उसके लिए एक सिंपल सी चीज़ है, लास्ट टाइम पे एक चीज़ आपको ध्यान रखनी है, दैट यू डोंट नीड टू वरी दैट आई एम नॉट फुली प्रिपेयर्ड एंड ऑल. व्हाट यू नीड टू फोकस इज जस्ट स्टडी हार्ड, no matter if it seems impossible, no matter if it takes time, no matter if you have to up all night. Just remember that the feeling of success is the best feeling in the entire world. So what you need to focus abhi is you need to focus on your preparation. Trust your preparation, implement it well in the exam, and get the result. Result as in get the success. That is the most important point here. Now, after covering all the important news in this session, we will be discussing 4 to 5 questions जिनको हम कहेंगे questions of the day. These questions will tell you what type of questions can be asked in the exams. So चलिए शुरू करते हैं अपनी उस particular information के साथ कि प्रथम टेस्ट प्रेप यूट्यूब चैनल पे apart from daily snapshots और क्या क्या करवाया जाता है. So अगर हम YouTube लाइव सेशंस बाय प्रथम टेस्ट प्रेप मेंटोर्स की बात करें तो पहला जिसकी हम बात करें दैट इज डेली न्यूज़पेपर एनालिसिस सेशन जो आपका होता है मंडे टू फ्राइडे, राइट. देन डीप डाइव सेशन जो हमारा होता है, एक होता है ट्यूसडे को एट 3 PM, एंड एक डीप डाइव हमारा होता है थर्सडे को at 3 PM. That means tomorrow I'll meet you again on Pratham Test Prep YouTube channel with a deep dive session on Climate Change Performance Index 2023. Then if we talk about another session series, so that is our Legal Darpan, which cover all the news, right? And we come live with Legal Darpan on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. Apart from that, we are also doing a series on current affairs, which is known as Current Affairs Samvad, जिसके लिए हम live आते हैं Monday and Friday at 8:30 p.m. Then Maths Mudda, twice a month at 11:30 a.m. For this, you will get notification, and to get notification by Pratham Test Prep YouTube channel, what you need to do is press the bell icon so that you can get the notification of all the upcoming videos. Then again, logical reasoning twice a month, and a series on vocabulary to build your vocabulary in a manner which is known as vocabulary, right? So इसको लेके हम आते हैं Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday at 8:30 p.m. So if you are following the Pratham Test Prep YouTube channel, you are covering the major part for the preparation of your entrance exam. चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं अपनी पहली न्यूज़ के साथ. एंड फर्स्ट न्यूज़ इज a question that does inclusion being key to growth or not, and if it is, then what does it mean? So if you can see the headline is what does inclusion being key to growth mean here. Inclusion किसका? Labor intensive industries का, उनमें उनकी हेल्प करने का, उनको इंक्लूड करने का इन द इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ. सो क्वेश्चन क्या है? वी कैन से दैट द क्वेश्चन इज whether growth leads to inclusion and hence reduction in poverty was once a hotly debated topic and question in India, and again it has arisen. and question ये है, जैसे साउथ कोरिया एंड चाइना ने किया, क्या वैसे ही इंडिया को भी करना चाहिए, राइट? क्या इंडिया को भी अपने लेबर इंटेंसिव इंडस्ट्री की हेल्प करनी चाहिए टू राइज रैपिडली सो दैट दे we can say that with the help of this they can eradicate or reduce the poverty and lead towards the growth. So we can say that when the focus on the growth is the key to the reduction of poverty under Pradhan Mantri Jawaharlal Nehru, at that time also inclusion was the main focus, but उस time it was failed to produce the desired result or desired outcome. Now this particular view has gained ground again that we could count on growth to bring poverty down. उसके लिए it is very important to include the labor intensive industries in the growth plan, right? So अगर हम 1970s की बात करें, अभी हमने कहा जो हमारे फॉर्मर फर्स्ट प्राइम मिनिस्टर थे जवाहरलाल नेहरू, उनके अंडर ये प्लान फेल हो चुका था, बट ज़रूरी नहीं है उस टाइम फेल हुआ तो दोबारा वो फेल होगा. उस टाइम पे वी डिडंट हैव द रिसोर्सेज और प्रॉपर प्लानिंग बिकॉज दैट वाज जस्ट द टाइम आफ्टर आवर इंडिपेंडेंस, बट नाउ द टाइम हैज़ बीन चेंज, राइट? सो अगर हम 1970s की बात करें, इन 1970s एंटायर कॉटेज इंडस्ट्री जो थी, right, entire cottage industry, it emerged under the self-congratulatory title of New Economics, which argued that redistribution offered only the avenue to poverty alleviation, right? So अगर हम जैसे और एग्जाम्पल ले, काफ़ी बुक्स में भी इसको डिस्कस किया गया है. 2013 की एक बुक थी Why Growth Matters. This was the book Why Growth Matters. किसकी बुक थी ये? जगदीश. सो इस बुक में बेसिकली था जगदीश भगवती एंड अरविंद पनगारिया जो है, जो कि एक प्रोफेसर इन दी कोलंबिया यूनिवर्सिटी, जिनका पिक्चर आप यहाँ देख सकते हो, इज द राइटर ऑफ दिस आर्टिकल, राइट? तो उन्होंने 2013 में वाई ग्रोथ मैटर्स में, राइट, जगदीश भागवती एंड अरविंद पनगारिया ने आर्ग्यू किया था दैट दिस इन्फ्लुएंस from the experience under Nehru era policies was unwarranted. At that time it was unwarranted, and it was not the growth that had failed to produce the inclusion, but the growth had simply not materialized at that time, right? Once if we have a proper strategy, a change of strategy, then it will obviously begin to deliver decent, even if not spectacular levels of growth, which includes the labor intensive industries also. So आज के टाइम पे अगर हम बात करें, today's, if we talk about today's scenario, we can say that growth is the main instrument, and growth can play the role as the instrument of inclusion, and it has come to occupy its rightful place in policy discourage, right? अगर हम बात करें ट्रू इकोनॉमिक्स की, दे हैव ऑल्सो रिकग्नाइज द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ एजुकेशन हेल्थ फॉर ग्रोथ. सो इंक्लूजन के साथ साथ अगर हम जैसे हेल्थ की बात करें, इफ वी टॉक अबाउट एजुकेशन, सो पहले ये माना जा चुका है दैट फॉर ग्रोथ इट इज इम्पॉर्टेंट to give importance to health and education also, but they have generally neglected the more powerful role that the inclusion play. सो इंक्लूजन का कितना इंपॉर्टेंट रोल हो सकता है वो यहाँ पे नहीं समझ पा रहे हैं, एंड उसी को फोकस करने की ज़रूरत है, दैट हाउ मोर पावरफुल रोल द इंक्लूजन पार्ट कैन प्ले डायरेक्टली इन द प्रोसेस ऑफ ग्रोथ. So if we talk about the early stages of development, the most abundant resource of developing countries is labor, right? So अगर हम बात करें most abundant resource of developing country, it is labor, and it is only by exploiting fully the potential of this resource that they can hope to grow rapidly. And historically, if we talk about the countries that have designed their growth strategies on this premise, they have achieved the unprecedented growth in relatively short period. So it is very important that we should use our labor resource extensively to achieve this rapidly growth achievement target, right? So for instance, अगर मैं साउथ कोरिया की बात करूँ, we can see this in the article here, right? It includes the countries like South Korea, Taiwan in the 1960s, and China in 1980s and 2000. इसको अगर हम समझे, 1960 में 68% of South Korean workforce was employed in agriculture. लेकिन by 1990, this proportion has fallen to 18% because now एग्रीकल्चर के अलावा जो बाकी इंडस्ट्रीज़ है उसमें लेबर इंटेंसिव इंक्लूजन को फोकस किया जाने लगा. एंड ड्यूरिंग दीज 3 decades, industries and services absorbed additional half or of the workforce, with real wages rising 8 to 10% annually. And correspondingly, from being underemployed, the workers became highly productive. And in contrast to this, under Jawaharlal Nehru, India adopted a development strategy that was centered not on the utilization of its abundant resource, labor, but the scarce one called capital. नेहरू के अंडर हम क्यों फेल हुए थे उस टाइम पे? क्योंकि हमारा जो पूरी पॉलिसी थी या जो डेवलपमेंट स्ट्रेटजी थी, इट वाज नॉट सेंटर्ड ऑन द abundant resource called labor, but it was completely centered on the capital. And with the saving rate of 7 to 9% and a low level of income, the country had, we can say that, mirrors the investable resources. The government choose to invest them almost entirely in heavy industries, right, which cumulatively employed less than 5% of nation's workforce, and that was the reason at that time that particular strategy failed. And the census also shows that proportion of workforce in agriculture remained stubbornly unchanged at 69.7% between these 20 years. If we talk about the years between 1951 to 1971, and unlike South Korea, Taiwan and China, जहाँ पे progressively greater employment in industry and services led to unskilled workers becoming semi-skilled, more skilled, and more skilled to highly skilled, no such process unfolding had been happened in India. Right? So, as per the Employment-Unemployment Survey, the proportion of workforce in agriculture, it fell from 58.5% in 2004-5 to 48.9% in 2011-12. Still बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं है, धीरे धीरे changes हो रहे हैं, but not that much. And to grow at around 8% or higher rates over 2 or more decades, we must recognize that inclusion is integral to rapid growth. Only then we would focus squarely on the policies that would help labor intensive industries such as apparel, footwear, furniture and other light manufacturing to grow rapidly. So this is very important. Inclusion focus on the labor to get the growth. Now we'll quickly talk about the second news here, which is about Canada's views on India as a partner. So अगर हम बात करें इसकी, the headline is Canada says that India is a crucial partner, and Canada also termed China as increasingly disruptive power, right? So if we talk about the head of Canada, right, Justin Trudeau, we can say that उनकी तरफ से जो statements हैं, it was like that they recognize the Indo-Pacific region and also that it will play a significant and profound role in the future. चाइना ने इंडो पैसिफिक स्ट्रैटेजी रिलीज की है जिसमें दे हैव टर्म चाइना एज इंक्रीजिंगली डिसरप्टिव global power and also called India as crucial partner, right? And it is also said that it will see, Canada will seek all the new opportunities to partner and engage in dialogue with India in areas of common interest and values. So for example, the promotion of democracy, human rights, etc. in सब में it will look up to India for any kind of tie-up or any kind of partnership or engagement. Also, based on 5 interconnected strategies objective, it announced an ambitious plan beginning with an investment of $2.3 billion over the next 5 years in India. And China के लिए इनका जो statement था, it was like China is looking to shape the international order into more permissive environment for interest and values that increasingly depart from others, right? इसीलिए in areas of profound disagreement, Canada will challenge China in partnership with India, including when it engaged in coercive behavior, जैसे ignores human rights obligation and undermines our national security interest and those of partners in the region. That is the view of Canada. Right? And as China becomes more assertive and grows in influence, Canada की अगर हम बात करें, it is stepping up as a reliable partner in the region with India so that it can promote what? So it can promote security, it can promote stability across the region at home, the strategy as well. And Canada अपना जो है military engagement भी increase करेगी, intelligence capacity भी increase करेगी so that वो अपना coercive behavior को smooth कर सके, जिसमें it is considering India as a crucial पार्टनर, क्योंकि इंडिया की जो ग्रोइंग स्ट्रैटेजी, इकोनॉमिक एंड डेमोग्राफिक इंपॉर्टेंस है इन द इंडो पैसिफिक रीजन, उसके अकॉर्डिंग कनाडा जो है इट इज कंसिडरिंग इट एज द critical partner in all its objective, while also noted that there are shared values and pluralism among others also. राइट सो अगर हम बात करें इसी के चलते हुए, दे सीक टू एक्सपैंड मार्केट एक्सेस बाय कंक्लूडिंग एन EPTA. सो EPTA की बात करें, EPTA इज अर्ली प्रोग्रेस ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट, राइट. सो इसको भी किया गया एज अ स्टेप टुवर्ड अ कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इकोनॉमिक पार्टनरशिप एग्रीमेंट, CEPA, कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इकोनॉमिक पार्टनरशिप एग्रीमेंट, राइट. सो ये समझना चाहिए हमें दैट इफ वी टॉक अबाउट दिस ऑन पीपल टू पीपल कनेक्ट, द स्ट्रैटेजी said that it would invest in and connect people, including bolstering the Canada's visa processing capacity in New Delhi and Chandigarh, as also it will support the academic, it will support the educational and cultural, youth and research exchanges also. एंड इसी के साथ साथ कनाडा का जो रीजनल पीस एंड सिक्योरिटी इंटरेस्ट है, राइट, टू एडवांस कनाडाज रीजनल पीस एंड सिक्योरिटी इंटरेस्ट, इट प्लान्स टू इन्वेस्ट ओवर $720 million, which includes $492.9 million to reinforce Canada's Indo-Pacific naval presence and also to increase its military participation. So yes, यहाँ पे हम कह सकते हैं we are talking about Canada-India partnership, Canada considering India as a crucial partner, and Canada considering or terming China as increasingly disruptive power in the Indo-Pacific region. So in Indo-Canada tie-up is very important in the Indo-Pacific region. चलिए बढ़ते हैं अपने तीसरे न्यूज़ की तरफ. एंड द थर्ड न्यूज़ इज दैट अभी अगर हम बात करें सो G20 प्रेसिडेंसी, राइट, अगर हम बात करें यहाँ पे G20 प्रेसिडेंसी, ग्रुप ऑफ 20 प्रेसिडेंसी जो है इसको अभी इंडिया ने अज्यूम किया है. सो एज इंडिया अज्यूम्स द G20 प्रेसिडेंसी, इट्स इम्प्रेसिव ग्रोथ रेट मस्ट बी अकम्पनीड बाय ब्रीदेबल एयर इन सिटीज. सो इसमें दो मेन चीज फोकस होंगी. एक तरफ हम बात कर रहे हैं ग्रोथ रेट की, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट GDP, एंड दूसरी तरफ हम बात कर रहे हैं एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स, एयर क्वालिटी की, राइट. सो इन दोनों पे फोकस किया जाएगा ड्यूरिंग द टाइम व्हेन इंडिया इज प्रेसाइडिंग दी G20 और ग्रुप ऑफ 20, right? So we can say that the timing seems perfect for India, that it takes over the group of 20's presidency. So when chips are down for United States, Europe and even for China on the growth front, India currently is playing the role of shining star right now, right? India being a shining star with the highest rate of GDP growth rate, right, expected in 2023, surpassing China's in 2022 as well as in 2023. So this is the perfect time that India took the presidency of G20, right? So अगर हम बात करें इंडिया की, तो इंडिया जो है it will be there to showcase its economic strategy along with its culture and the motto of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, right? One earth, one family, one future. This will be the main focus of India. One earth, one family, one future, right? And also life, which is lifestyle for environment, could add further to its shine. So वो उस पे फोकस करेगा, right? Now यहाँ पे अगर हम देखें इंडिया को कुछ चीज़ों पे ध्यान देना है. दैट इज इंडिया नीड्स टू इरेज एज सून एज पॉसिबल द बोल्ट विच इज पोल्यूशन इन इट्स सिटीज. सो इंडिया के सामने मेजर चैलेंज इज नॉट ग्रोथ योर, बट द मेजर चैलेंज इज पोल्यूशन, राइट. सो अगर हम इसकी बात करें, we can say that when we talk about the cities of India like Delhi, right? So Delhi is branded as the most polluted city in not just in India but in the world. And if we talk about the Delhi, we can say that the residents of Delhi are choking with every breath. The air quality index of Delhi vis-a-vis capitals of other G20 nation is the poorest by a wide margin, right? So हमें जिस पे मेनली फोकस करना है वो है हमारे एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स. सो अगर मैं यहाँ पे एक पॉइंट रखना चाहूँ, so Delhiites in November, December feel if they are being pushed into a gas chamber for slow death. क्योंकि Air Quality Index Report 2022 of University of Chicago, they claims that the residents of Delhi are losing their life expectancy by as much as 10 years because of their poorest air quality index, right? So अगर हम यहाँ पे बात करें, we can say that if this is indeed true, then what is the purpose of having the highest GDP growth? Obviously, when we talk about the mere slogan of life may not remove this bloat. So सिर्फ life, स्लोगन लेके चलना या वन अर्थ वन फैमिली वन फ्यूचर मोटो लेके चलना, इट विल नॉट हेल्प इंडिया. इंडिया नीड्स टू डू समथिंग अबाउट इट एयर क्वालिटी, राइट. सो अगर हम बात करें प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी की, सो इफ प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी कैन सस्टेन इंडियाज डिस्टिंक्शन एज द कंट्री विद द हाइएस्ट ग्रोथ रेट बट ऑल्सो मैनेज significantly to improve air quality index in Indian cities, it can pay the BJP hands solemnly in the 2024 general election also. If he will or if he can manage to resolve the Russia-Ukraine conflict with support from a very able external affairs minister, S. Shankar, Modi may even be a contender for the Nobel Peace Prize opportunity, but it's knocked out at his door for him to give his best to India and to the world. Only by December 2023 we will know whether he has grabbed this opportunity or let it pass. Right? So अगर हम बात करें G20 की, coming back to this topic again, we know that G20 accounts for 2/3 of the world's population and about 85% of the world's GDP and 75% of its trade. This is the right forum for Narendra Modi and India to emerge as the responsible world leader and Vishwa Guru. Vishwa Guru, or you can say world leader. Right? Climate change has started causing significantly damage through heat waves, drought, floods of increasing intensity, frequency. COP27 की बात करें, 27th Conference of Parties, it agreed to create loss and damage fund for compensating developing countries is a very good beginning, right? And Paris target with no visible part to contain the global warming up to additional 1.5 डिग्री, ये पेरिस एग्रीमेंट का टारगेट है. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू द क्लाइमेट वॉच, द बिगेस्ट ग्लोबल हाउस गैस एमिटर्स इन 2019 वर चाइना, the US and India. However, in terms of global house gas per capita emission in 2021, Australia was at the top and followed by Saudi Arabia and Canada. So जब हम यहाँ पे facts की बात करते हैं, data की बात करते हैं, you should focus on these facts because question can come directly from these kind of facts, right? And if we talk about SAFAR, according to SAFAR, SAFAR stands for System of Air Quality Forecasting and Research, right? यहाँ आप देख सकते हैं according to SAFAR, System of Air Quality Forecasting and Research, largest share of stubble burning of Delhi's air quality index this year was 34%. Last year it was 42%, right? That means we still need to do a lot, and the switch away from paddy towards maize, soya bean, pulses, vegetables, fruits, etc. It required a diversification strategy for at least 5 years and handsomely rewarding the farmers with carbon credits, saving of water and energy. And to control the dust, heavy fines must be enforced on the buildings also who do not use water sprinkles multiple times a day at construction site. So all these things, they lead towards the poor or poorest air quality in Indian cities, right? So we can say that India should use this opportunity of G20 presidency to do something for India, for the world related to the poor air quality index. Now, what is the National Air Quality Index? It was launched in 2014 with outline, one number, one color, one description for the common man so that they can judge easily the air quality within his vicinity. Now, if we talk about the measurement of air quality, it is based on 8 pollutants. So आपको नेम भी पता होनी चाहिए, आपको नंबर भी पता होनी चाहिए. Which 8 pollutants? Particulate matter PM10, particulate matter PM2.5, nitrogen dioxide NO2, sulfur dioxide SO2, carbon monoxide CO, ozone O3, pneumonia NH3 and lead PB. इन पे डिपेंड करता है. एंड व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स, इट हैज़ 6 कैटेगरीज ऑफ एयर क्वालिटी जिसमें कि वो उसको डिफाइन करता है या कैटेगराइज करता है. तो पहली है गुड, सेकेंड सेटिस्फैक्ट्री, थर्ड मॉडरेटली पोल्यूटेड, फोर्थ पुअर, फिफ्थ वेरी पुअर एंड लास्ट सिवियर. It has been developed by whom? CPCB in consultation with IIT Kanpur. Very important. And an expert group comprising medical and air quality professionals. So you need to focus on facts again for the exams, right? So ये important था. So this news was very important from the examination point of view. Now we'll talk about our next news, which is regarding the or related with the appeal for the revamping of the process of selection or election of chief election commissioners and election commissioners, and also to get a law for the same would further, so that it can strengthen the sanctity of the election commission, right? So abhi kya hai, if we talk about election commission of India, इसमें मेन 3 रोल है, 3 पोस्ट है. सबसे ऊपर है चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर, फिर इनके अंडर काम करते हैं 2 इलेक्शन कमिश्नर, वन इलेक्शन कमिश्नर एंड सेकेंड इलेक्शन कमिश्नर, राइट. सो अभी कुछ टाइम पहले, अभी अगर हम बात करें इसकी कि व्हाई इट हैज बीन इन न्यूज. Okay, there is a question saying where is Ashish sir today? Beta, he will be available from the next session. He was not well today, so he's not here today. He's not available today. That's why I'm taking this session. Don't worry. From tomorrow onwards, he will only take the newspaper analysis session. Right, Anil? Okay, Rishi. Hanji. Now, if we talk about the constitutional bench, the constitution bench of Supreme Court is hearing a bunch of plea or appeal on the issue of the process involved in the appointment of Chief Election Commissioner and Election Commissioner. So, अगर हम इसमें बात करें कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रोविजन की, तो कौन सा आर्टिकल बात करता है? आर्टिकल 324 टू आर्टिकल 329 ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. इट डील्स विद द इलेक्शन कमीशन. एंड आर्टिकल 324 clause 2 of the constitution, it deals with the, or you can say that it states that the election commission shall consist of chief election commissioner and 2 election commissioners, right? As the president may from time to time fix an appointment of the chief election commissioner and other election commissioners shall subject to the provision of any law made in that behalf of parliament be made by the president, right? So हम ये कह सकते हैं that when we talk about the appointment to the post, chief election commissioner and election commissioner, it is being done by president, right? ये कौन करता है बेटा? President on the advice given to him by the council of ministers. Council of Ministers advise करते हैं, President appoint करता है. And there is no doubt that right from the first Chief Election Commissioner सुकुमार सेन, first CC कौन थे? सुकुमार सेन, right, who conducted the first election in 1952 very effectively. There have been election commissioners who have been conducted election in this vast and complex country with a lot of fairness and impartiality, right? In particular, T.N. Seshan is taken as a person who by virtue of his personality used the powers given to him under the People Representative Act and stamped his authority to perform very well in the process of the election, right? तो ये आपको याद होना चाहिए. Now when we talk about officers, so an officer is appointed to the commission as election commission at the time of his retirement, and he can contribute till the age of 65. Till the age of 65, the senior most among the election commissioners become the chief election commissioner and normally gets a 2 or 3 years of term. So this is the main process जो चलता आ रहा है, right? This is the main process जो चलता आ रहा है. So अगर हम बात करते हैं चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर या कमीशंस की, सो लेट्स से अगर इलेक्शन कमीशन एंड चीफ इलेक्शन कमीशन को 5 साल का टर्म भी मिलता है, और इफ 6 years tenure is to be given, then the retirement age of chief election commission or election commission could be extended to 66 years and not 65 years, अगर वो ऐसे एक्सटेंड होता है तो, ठीक है. सो नाउ यहाँ पे सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने सजेस्ट किया दैट देयर कुड बी अ ब्रॉड बेस्ड सिलेक्शन कमिटी कंसिस्टिंग ऑफ प्राइम मिनिस्टर, लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन, चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया, इनका भी होना चाहिए, राइट. हाउएवर द फेयरनेस ऑफ द सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस इट शुड बी क्लियर एंड इसीलिए ज़रूरी है दैट शुड बी सम चेंज. हाउएवर एट प्रेजेंट इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ द पोस्ट of CBI director is being done by such a committee, it would be worthwhile evaluating whether the process of selection of CBI director is being preserved as being fair and above board or not, and उसके बाद ही इसको implement करना चाहिए to the other post also. And keeping everything in mind, we can say that there is no harm if the parliament debates the process of the selection of chief election commissioner and election commission and framed a new law in this regard. In fact, it would be further helpful in strengthening the sanctity of the institution which is essential for our democracy, right? So अगर हम election commission को थोड़ा सा समझने की कोशिश करें यहाँ पे, what is election commission? So election commission is a constitutional authority that functions under Article 32 of the Indian Constitution. Main objective क्या है? Main objective is to conduct free and fair elections to the office of President, Vice President, Parliament and State Assemblies of the state. They are responsible for registering the political parties also. So ये दो main objective है. Appointment कौन करता है? Chief Election Commission, Commissioner and other election commissioner are being appointed by President of India. The Chief Election Commissioner serves for a term of 6 years or till the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. Structure क्या है? Election Commission consists of, मैं already आगे बता चुकी थी, 1 Election Commission and 2 Election Commissioners. Removal कौन कर सकता है? Chief Election Commissioner can be removed from their office in a manner similar to the removal of Judge of the Supreme Court. Other election commissioners can be removed by the President of India on the recommendation of Chief Election Commissioner. Powers क्या क्या है? Service condition of the Chief Election Commissioner cannot be varied to his disadvantage after his appointment, right? Election commissioner or a regional commissioner cannot be removed from office except on the recommendation of a chief election commissioner. They have the power to cancel an election in case of malpractice. Then concern currently क्या है? The constitution has not prescribed the qualification of the members of election commissioner. दूसरा, constitution has not stopped retiring election commissioner from any further appointment by the government. So आपको यहाँ पे election commissioner उनका मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव और एम, अपॉइंटमेंट कौन करता है, व्हाट इज द स्ट्रक्चर, जो मैंने आगे भी बताया, मेन एक पोस्ट है चीफ इलेक्शन कमिश्नर की एंड उसके नीचे आते हैं मेनली 2 इलेक्शन कमिश्नर्स. स्ट्रक्चर के अलावा रिमूवल के अलावा पावर्स एंड करंट कंसर्न एंड सुप्रीम कोर्ट बेंच का recent decision on this. All these things are important. Now अगर हम इसी में देखें, reducing conversation on election commission to issue the appointment, it can be damaging, right? So another article की अगर हम बात करें, so election commission जो है, it works with all the arms of the Indian government at some point or the other, which we can say that it taking over the administrative superintendence from executive like no other authority or commission in India. So क्या चीफ इलेक्शन कमीशन जो है या जो इलेक्शन कमीशन है, इट इज़ बिकमिंग अ विक्टिम इन द सीजलेस क्रॉस फायर बिटवीन द हाई जुडिशरी एंड द गवर्नमेंट ओवर द अपॉइंटमेंट्स? If so, then it would not only be unfortunate but also potentially dangerous. A takedown of election commission, after all, strikes at the core of India's democracy narrative. The free, fair and successful conduct of the world's biggest democracy's exercise, in which voter turnout and the gender ratio have only improved with every election, it will pose a danger on it, right? This is not to suggest that election commission is above scrutiny, but election commission has come under somewhat sharp attack from the higher judiciary of late. First it was murder charge by Madras High Court over conducting a bypoll in Tamil Nadu during the pandemic. The Supreme Court later described it as harsh event, right? And if we talk about more such incident, Supreme Court stated election commission's inability to legally act against the political parties for making tall, economically inviable pre-poll prominence or promises, and it took some amount of heated exchange before the point could be made. राइट एंड इसी के साथ साथ अगर हम आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स स्ट्रक्चर की बात करें, इलेक्शन कमीशन टेरिटोरियल एंड एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव जुरिडिक्शन इज नॉट डिफाइंड एंड कैन कवर द एंटायर कंट्री एंड कट अक्रॉस डिफरेंट टायर्स ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट. द वोटर वेरिएबल पेपर ऑडिट, जिसको हम वीवीपीएटी बोल रहे हैं, the voter verified paper audit trail, it was an innovation that cooled doubts over misuse, right? So we cannot say that election commission is doing everything wrong. And इसी के साथ there are so many questions that should election commission have an independent secretariat like Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. This too was moved by election commission to government of India in 1998 and 2004 also. Then also, why cannot election commission expenses be independent of government budget and be directly, charged to the consolidated fund of India? This idea was also pushed forward in 1994, 2012 and 2016, and it is still pending on decision from the government side, right? So yes, we can say that this is a topic of debate and we'll have to see what will happen in this. So in this thing, you need to learn about everything related to election commission in India. चलिए नेक्स्ट की बात करते हैं, the worrying trade gap with China. So if we talk about the worrying trade gap with China, we all know that there is a widening trade deficit with China from after 2020, which points to a weakness in India's industrial growth. But so it was the headline news when Chinese custom statistics at the end of September 2022 indicated that for a second calendar year, India's trade with China. So क्या हो रहा है, इंडिया का जो ट्रेड है चाइना के साथ, India's trade with China, it would settle at well above 100 billion. So it is falling, decreasing at well above 100 million dollars, right? This was only partially because of the positive implication of the burgeoning trade between the two countries, India and China, right? Over the first 9 months of 2022, China का जो export है to India, it has rose more than 30%, right? To $89.7 billion, while India का जो export है to China, it fell 36%. So अगर हम यहाँ पे बात कर रहे हैं China's export to India, it has increased to 30%, more than 30%. But if we are talking about India's export to China, it has fallen to 36%. More than 36%, right? And as a result of this, one-way trade flow is going on, and the aggregate trade flow of $104 million over those 9 months resulted in deficit in trade for India vis-a-vis of China around $76 billion, right? So अगर इसको हम समझे, यहाँ पे ये समझते हैं what exactly is the pattern. आप यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं that there is persistent deficit from June 17 to June 2022, राइट. इम्पोर्ट स्ट्रक्चर आप यहाँ पे देख सकते हो ऑफ डिफरेंट मटेरियल, इलेक्ट मशीनरी, देन ड्रग सर्च का आप देख सकते हो, इम्पोर्ट ऑफ मेडिसिन एक्सेट्रा फ्रॉम चाइना टू इंडिया, इट हैज़ बीन इंक्रीज फ्रॉम 1989 टू 2021, राइट. सो इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द एक्सपोर्ट एंड इम्पोर्ट, यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो दैट इंडिया टू चाइना इट नीदर वॉल्यूम्स नॉर वैल्यू. So top 10 items exported to China and top 10 items imported from China, right? So fish and seafood, granite and building stones, iron ores and concentrates, petroleum and mineral oil, ये वो है जो चाइना को एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं. Cotton yarn, raw cotton, refined copper, polymer of ethanol in primary form, fixed vegetable fat and oils. And अगर हम बात करें top 10 items imported from China, so वो है project goods, reception apparatus and video monitors, parts and accessories of motor vehicles, antibiotics, heterocycle compounds with nitrogen, fertilizers, electronic integrated circuits and microassembles, right? Diodes, transistors and semiconductor devices, automatic data processing machines, telephonic instruments and वीडियो फोन्स. सो ओवर द लास्ट 6 years आप देख सकते हैं कितना चेंज है, राइट. सो इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द ट्रेड, आपको इंडिया चाइना ट्रेड जो है उसके फैक्ट्स एंड डेटा पे फोकस करना है फॉर योर एग्जामिनेशन. नाउ नेक्स्ट की अगर हम बात करें, दिस इज अबाउट सुप्रीम कोर्ट order which had been reserved on CBI's appeal in ISRO frame up case. सो ISRO frame up case की बात करें तो बेसिकली हमें इसके बैकग्राउंड में जाना पड़ेगा. दिस केस इज अबाउट, वी कैन से दैट, राइट. सो बेसिकली a conspiracy to frame the ISRO scientist, जो आपको यहाँ पे जिनकी पिक्चर दिख रही है, राइट, द नेम नंबी नारायण. सो नंबी नारायणन की बात करें, इन पे केस लगाया गया था, उसी केस को दोबारा यहाँ पे मुद्दा बनाया गया है, राइट. सो बेसिकली इस फ्रेम अप केस की बात करें तो हुआ क्या था, हम पूरी हिस्ट्री डिस्कस करेंगे, बट अभी के लिए बेसिक. The Supreme Court has reserved for orders a series of appeals filed by whom? Filed by Central Bureau of Investigation, which challenged the anticipatory bail granted to former police officers accused of being part of a conspiracy to frame ISRO scientist Nambi Narayan in an espionage case. The bench जिन्होंने ये अपील की है, this bench led by Justice M.R. Shah, it indicated that the case may be remanded back to the Kerala High Court, and the advocate Kapil Sibal urged the court to grant them protection from arrest if the case is sent back. तो पूरा केस एक बार समझते हैं, उससे पहले a brief information about ISRO. Where is the headquarter of ISRO? If we talk about this, the headquarter is in Bangalore. Who is the chief of ISRO? Chief of ISRO is S. Somnath. So you need to remember these basic facts about ISRO, and क्योंकि this case is related to ISRO scientists, you need to remember this. Road to injustice. पहला, 1994 अक्टूबर में मरियम रशीदा, who was a Maldivian national, he was arrested, right? Was arrested in Thiruvananthapuram. Then Nambi Narayanan, Shashi Kumaran, Chandrasekharan, S.K. Sharma and Fauzia Hassan, they were arrested in November 1994. Then Nambi Narayanan and Shashi Kumaran, they released on bail in 1995 January. उसके बाद CBI ने एक रिपोर्ट सबमिट की थी टू द चीफ जुडिशियल मैजिस्ट्रेट एर्नाकुलम, जिन्होंने ये कहा था दैट दिस केस वाज फैब्रिकेटेड अगेंस्ट नंबी नारायणन एंड अदर्स इन अप्रैल 1996. देन court accept the CBI report and they discharged all the accused in 1996. उसके बाद 5 साल के बाद मार्च 2001 में NHRC awards interim compensation of 10 lakh rupees to Narayanan and 1 crore sought as damage. फिर मई 1998 में, ये थोड़ा मैंने यहाँ से मिस कर दिया, इसके बाद ये यहाँ है, जून 1996 में स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने ऑर्डर दिया था फॉर द री इन्वेस्टिगेशन बाय स्टेट पुलिस, नोटिफिकेशन लेटर कॉज्ड बाय द सुप्रीम कोर्ट. ठीक है. उसके बाद 1998 में सुप्रीम कोर्ट डायरेक्ट्स दी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट टू पे 1 लाख कंपनसेशन टू डिस्चार्ज इन सबको जिनको भी बख्शा गया था, एस.के. शर्मा, फौजिया, चंद्रशेखर, शशि कुमारन. एंड उसके बाद ये पॉइंट इंपॉर्टेंट इसलिए बिकॉज दिस न्यूज वॉज मेनली रिलेटेड टू नंबी नारायणन एंड NHRC ने इंटरिम कंपनसेशन दिया था ऑफ 10 लाख रुपीज टू नारायणन. देन अप्रैल 2017 में नारायणन ने अपील की इन सुप्रीम कोर्ट द एक्शन सॉट अगेंस्ट द पुलिस ऑफिशियल्स हु प्रॉप दी केसेस के उनके अगेन एक्शन लिया जाए. सितंबर 2018 में सुप्रीम कोर्ट अवॉर्डेड 50 lakh as compensation to Narayanan, which constitutes a committee to probe. That was the whole case and the history. So अब क्योंकि हम बात करें इसकी, तो इसरो की जो लॉन्ग जर्नी है उसको एक बार समझना पड़ेगा. सो आफ्टर अ लॉन्ग जर्नी, अ ब्रीफ हिस्ट्री ऑफ इंडियाज क्रायोजेनिक इंजन, क्योंकि ये न्यूज़ में रहता है. सो 1982 में फर्स्ट टीम टू मेक इंजन वॉज देयर. 86 to 91 में अर्ली एक्सपेरिमेंट हुए. 91 में रशियन एग्रीमेंट हुआ. 93 में रशियन बैकआउट ऑन टेक्नोलॉजी. 94 में इंडियन क्रायोजेनिक प्रोग्राम फॉर्मलाइज किया गया. 2000 में पहला इंजन टेस्ट हुआ जो फेल हो गया था. 2003 में पहला सक्सेसफुल टेस्ट हुआ. 2007 में फर्स्ट इंटीग्रेशन विद रॉकेट हुआ. 2010 में फर्स्ट फ्लाइट टेस्ट हुई एंड फाइनली 2014 में फर्स्ट सक्सेसफुल फ्लाइट took place. And India also joins a small group with first successful flight. So सबसे पहले first successful flight भेजने वाली country was US in 1963. Then it was Japan in 1977. थर्ड पे फ्रांस 1979. फोर्थ पे चाइना इन 1984. फिफ्थ पे रशिया 1987 एंड सिक्स्थ इन द वर्ल्ड इंडिया इन 2014. ठीक है, सो ये आपको फैक्ट्स याद रखने हैं दैट इंडिया इज द सिक्स्थ country in the world to to be successful to launch first successful flight, and first country was US in the year 1963 and India is sixth in this series. Now next news, unusual over NJAC order behind posting delays according to Supreme Court. Supreme Court ने क्या किया है? Supreme Court has struck down the NJAC, which is National Judicial Appointment Commission, which gave the government an equal say, in judicial appointment to be कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल कोर्ट्स इन 2015. उन्होंने 2015 में किया था, 2014 में हुआ था कि कॉलेजियम सिस्टम को एनजैक से आप कह सकते हो रिप्लेस कर दिया गया था, बट फिर से एनजैक को अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल डिक्लेयर करके कॉलेजियम सिस्टम वाज अगेन was there, right? So अगर हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट की बात करें, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने लिंक किया है द बिटर फेलियर ऑफ एनजैक टू द गवर्नमेंट्स विलिंगनेस टू क्रॉस सम रूबिकॉन्स एंड टेक द जुडिशरी बाय डिलेइंग collegium recommendation. The top court had struck down the NJAC, which gave the government an equal say in the judicial appointments in the year 2015, right? And the judgment had revived the collegium system of the judicial appointment. इसको हम पूरा समझेंगे, अभी फिर से ये न्यूज़ में है, राइट? सो वो इसलिए बिकॉज there has been delays in the appointment in the judiciary and government asked Supreme Court to reconsider 20 names for High Court judges. The Supreme Court asked the center has asked the Supreme Court to reconsider the 20 names recommended for the appointments of High Court, including that of Advocate Saurabh Kripal. He recently said his appointment was delayed as he was gay and he was one of the lawyers whose effort in Supreme Court had led to discrimination of homosexuality, right? So इसकी वजह से पूरा मुद्दा फिर से आया है. इसको समझने के लिए थोड़ा बैकग्राउंड समझना पड़ेगा that what exactly is collegium system and NJAC. collegium system क्या है? ये प्रेजेंट में we are following for the appointment of judges. So ये है for the appointment of judges. And for the appointment of judges, the related article is Article 124. Which system is being following? Collegium system, जिसको बीच में किसने रिप्लेस किया था कुछ टाइम के लिए? एनजैक ने. So collegium system based on 3 judges case, and under it appointment of judges are made by Chief Justice of India and 4 senior most Supreme Court judges, has no constitutional backing, and Constitution of India's Article 124 says appointment to be made by President in consultation with the judges as President may deem necessary. Critics say it is a closed door system with lax ट्रांसपेरेंसी, एंड इसी को अचीव करने के लिए 2014 में एक नया सिस्टम लाया गया था विद द नेम NJAC, National Judicial Appointment Commission, which was a body created to end the 2-decade-old Supreme Court collegium system because it lacked transparency, right, for the appointment of judges. It was passed by Lok Sabha on August 13, 2014, passed by Rajya Sabha a day later, which consists 6 people, पहला CJI, 2 and 3, 2 senior most Supreme Court judges, law minister and 2 eminent person. अब ये जो 2 eminent person है इनको नॉमिनेट करते थे प्रेसिडेंट. सो अगर हम इसकी बात करें तो बेसिकली जहाँ पे 2 नॉमिनेटेड पीपल बैठ के जजेस का अपॉइंटमेंट कर रहे हैं, सो इट वाज डायरेक्टली अगेंस्ट द प्रोविजन ऑफ जुडिशियल इंडिपेंडेंस इन इंडिया. सो अगर हम देखें हमारा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन जो है वो जुडिशियल इंडिपेंडेंस प्रोवाइड करता है एंड द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ एनजैक was against the judicial independence, and critique says that judges in NJAC will need support of others to push a name through. They fear judicial independence being compromised, and that is why 2014 में ही NJAC was again replaced by collegium system. So now we are again following with system, collegium system for the appointment of judges. Under Article 124, कौन appoint करता है? President on the recommendation of Chief Justice of India and other senior most judges of the Supreme Court. So National Judicial Appointment Commission, questioning the basis of Supreme Court judgment that quashed National Judicial Appointment Commission. So, Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad has wondered why the Prime Minister cannot be trusted with the appointing fair judges. Background की बात करें तो 16 अक्टूबर 2015 को, ये जो मैंने यहाँ बोला, ये 2015 में इसको दोबारा रिप्लेस किया गया था. October 2015, in a 4:1 majority verdict, Supreme Court held that both the Constitution 99th Amendment Act 2014 and NJAC 2014 it was unconstitutional and it would undermine the independence of judiciary. The majority said the two laws affect the independence of the judiciary, judicial appointments among the other things. It should be protected from executive control. And अगर इंजैक की बात करें, it was a body responsible for the appointment and transfer of judges to higher judiciary. NJAC bill sought to replace the collegium system for appointing the judges in Supreme Court and High Court with Judicial Appointment Commission. लेकिन it was rejected. कुछ देर के कुछ टाइम के लिए implement किया गया, but it was declared unconstitutional as it was against the judicial independence. Now, I think the last news for today's newspaper analysis session, big shoes to fill. So, if we talk about this, so there is being work in progress related to or for the bronze and steel statue of B.R. Ambedkar. कहाँ पे चल रहे हैं इनके स्टैचू पे काम? इन हैदराबाद, राइट, इन हैदराबाद. सो यहाँ पे आपको इसकी हाइट पता होनी चाहिए, 125 फीट, ब्रॉन्ज एंड स्टील स्टैचू है. एंड द स्टैचू एंड द म्यूजियम, राइट, ये पूरा हुसैन नगर लेक के पास बना हुआ है, 11 एकड़ ज़मीन पे बना हुआ है. एंड इट विल बी इनॉग्रेटेड ऑन द बर्थ एनिवर्सरी ऑफ द B.R. Ambedkar, who is known as the father of Indian Constitution and main architect of Indian Constitution. So इनके बारे में हम पढ़ते हैं. Now 14th April 1891 से 6th December 1956. So 14th April birth anniversary and 6th December death anniversary. If we talk about Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar, Bharat Ratna holder, Indian jurist, economist, politician and social reformer है, right? प्राइम है, एज इन हम कहेंगे प्राइम आर्किटेक्ट ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया है, इसीलिए इनको फादर ऑफ इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन भी कहा जाता है, फादर ऑफ इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. RBI was based on the idea that Ambedkar presented to the Intel Young Commission, and Intel Young Commission के बाद ये RBI was established in 1935. Is also inspired modern Buddhist. He inspired modern Buddhist movement and campaign against the social discrimination of Dalits, women and labor. And he was independent India's first law minister. Very important. इनके कुछ famous sayings थे, right, जो कहते थे life should be greater rather than long. I like the religion that teaches liberty, equality and fraternity. Right. So अगर हम इनके fact कुछ important facts की बात करें, he was born in a Dalit family on 14th April 1891 in an untouchable family of Mao, which is now in Madhya Pradesh. He demanded for separate electorate. He advocated the separate electorate for the vulnerable classes despite Gandhi's wish against the reservation. His main role behind the Pune Pact, later an agreement was signed between Gandhi and Ambedkar to provide reserved seat to depressed classes instead of separate electorate. He played an important role against untouchability. In 1927, Ambedkar launched an agitation against the untouchability that barred Dalit to enter temples and to demand water, and established Bahishkrit Etakarani Sabha. Very important. Then he also founded the Scheduled Caste Federation. He founded the Independent Labour Party, later transformed into Scheduled Caste Federation in the year 1936, and contested in 1937 from Bombay to Central Legislative Assembly. So you need to remember all these facts because facts are very important from the examination point of view. So birth anniversary of B.R. Ambedkar. The nation celebrated the 131st birth anniversary of B.R. Ambedkar on 14th April 2022. B.R. Ambedkar was a social reformer, economist, author, right, scholar, orator, thinker. इनका बर्थ कहाँ हुआ ये सब हम डिस्कस कर चुके हैं. ही इज नोन एज फादर ऑफ इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. ही वॉज इंडियाज फर्स्ट लॉ मिनिस्टर. ही वॉज द चेयरमैन ऑफ ड्राफ्टिंग कमिटी ऑफ न्यू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. ही वॉज द वेल नोन स्टेटमेंट हु फॉट फॉर द राइट्स ऑफ Dalits. Now we'll quickly talk about the questions of the day. We had already covered so many news for today's newspaper analysis. Now we'll quickly talk about the question. तो पहला question है, a judge of the Supreme Court can be removed from his office by an order of the President after an address by Parliament has been presented to him in the same session. For such removal supported by, we have 4 options and आपको बताना है which one is correct. Take your time, see the options and tell the answer. So first option is simple majority in each house of parliament approved by the presiding officer of the house. Second option that we have here is special majority in Lok Sabha only. Third, absolute majority in both houses of parliament. And fourth, special majority in both houses of Parliament. The correct answer is option D, because the President can issue the removal order only after an address by Parliament that has been presented to him in the same session for such removal. Right? Second question. Carbon border adjustment mechanism is a plan to tax carbon intensive products such as iron, steel, cement, fertilizer, aluminium, electricity generation. Is proposed by, options are UN Environment, European Union, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change and World Trade Organization. The correct answer is B. Carbon border adjustment mechanism is a plan from European Union, right? And it was from the year which should be implemented from the year 2026. European Union came up with the carbon border adjustment mechanism in the year 2021. Third question. Which of the following macroeconomic scenario can impact foreign portfolio investment into India? We have 4 statement. आपको correct code यहाँ पे करना है select. US Fed rate hike, volatility in the prices of crude oil, fall in the US bond yields and fall in the dollar index. The correct answer is D. On the macroeconomics front, the US Fed rates, volatility in the prices of crude oil, fluctuating US bond yields and the dollar index played pivotal role in driving the investment sentiments. Second last question. Consider the following statements regarding Bali Yatra. Bali Yatra is one of the India's largest open-air fairs. The festival commemorates the old maritime cultures link between ancient Kalinga and Bali and other South and Southeast Asian region. And the festival is held annually in Andhra Pradesh. We need to select the correct answer and the correct answer is A. That means first and second statement is correct. If we talk about this festival, we can say that the Bali Yatra, it literally means voyage to Bali, is one of the country's largest open air fairs, which is organized every year to commemorate the 2000-year-old maritime and cultural links between Kalinga and Bali and other South and South Asian regions like Java, Sumatra, Borneo, Burma and Ceylon. The origin of the festival, which began on Kartik Purnima, right, can be traced back more than 1,000 years. The Bay of Bengal region had several ports and Sadhuas or traders traditionally began their voyage across the sea on this auspicious day. And according to historians, popular item trade between Kalinga and Southeast Asia included pepper, cinnamon, cardamom, silk, camphor, gold and jewelry. And if we are talking about Kalinga, It is in modern day Odisha. You should remember this place related to Ashoka with the point Ashoka war. Ashoka did this war to capture this particular place, Kalinga, because it was very important with respect to trade. Last question. In the history of modern India, Mount Harriet is associated with options are Paika Rebellion, Anglo-Mari Wars, Anglo-Sikh Wars and Anglo-Manipur Wars. The correct answer is D. Manipur's connections to Mount Harriet की अगर हम बात करें, after Anglo-Manipur War in 1891, several Manipuris who had fought the British in the war, including Maharaja Kulchandra Dwaja Singh, were exiled to British penal colony in Andaman Island, and it is considered as an epoch in the history of Manipur. The Anglo-Manipur War was fought between the Kingdom of Manipur and British over a month in the year 1891. So these were the important news and the question for today's newspaper analysis. With this, what you need to do is, for more such videos, what you need to do is like the video, share the video, subscribe the channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notification of more such videos. So I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope I was able to make you understand all the facts in an easier way. If yes, do support us by liking the video. Bye everyone. Bye bye. Take care. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Thank you very much.